Welcome to Nebraska Preps Postgame with Damon Benning and Jacob Padilla.
That's the music that cues us to another week of NEBPreps, one of my favorite days of the week because I get to spend some time with my man Jacob Padilla. JP, how we doing, bud?
I'm doing pretty well. A little late this week because of the holiday, but we all have to make adjustments sometimes.
Yeah, I appreciate you being patient, too. It's like we got such a cool team. Like the ability to be flexible is much appreciated.
Yeah. No, I knew what I was getting into when I recruited you back to the show.
Yeah, it's like, how many directions am I going to be pulled in? But for the most part, I think 98% of the time, this will be a Tuesday deal for us, I hope. I don't know how you're going to manage media availability.
Yeah,
but
volleyball press conferences on Tuesday coming up. So we'll have to talk about that later, but
yeah,
we can figure that out.
All right, we'll figure it out. It's very fluid with us, but we'll try not to keep you later than Wednesday so we can actually do a preview and a recap, right? We don't want it to be so far in the rearview mirror, but not a ton of surprises kind of in week one, but some very interesting matchups nonetheless.
Yeah, and let's dive right into it. The Class A Top 10. We were both at the same place on Thursday. A little longer than we maybe planned for, but we got the game in at Phelps Field Wednesday, and preseason number 1, Omaha Westside. Took care of business, 22-7 against then number 3, Omaha North, down to 7 this week after just mustering 7 points against pretty darn good Westside defense. I think the most impressive part of that game to me was the run defense, and just North could not carve out any space in the run game. Yeah,
I think for us, I'm glad you brought that up first because, I mean, that's the whole key, right? People see odd front and, they figure there's going to be able to we can make some hay in the run game, but we take a lot of pride in trying to make teams one-dimensional and holding a guy like Cannon to minus yards. We felt really good about. Although I will say, I think would you agree? I think Gal was probably better than advertised, at least for us.
Yeah, I think he settled in a little bit, and then he's got a pretty good option there in Darian Jones, who played well.
Be a good player.
Yeah, and they got Cannon a couple of big screen passes and put that where the ball needed to go on those plays. So definitely made some plays again in a not ideal situation, not given much offensive balance, having to go make things happen.
I thought he was good in the pocket, bought some time. Hit a couple of big throws on the run. I was fairly impressed.
Yeah. So game 1 for North, they'll figure some things out. Get a little healthier in the backfield, and then they'll have a chance to be as good as anybody else once you get past that top tier, I think.
Yeah.
But I think worth mentioning also is Braylon Warren's first start, and I think you could tell early on that his first time out there. But as the game went on, I thought he settled in and made some really impressive plays.
Yeah, well, you just got to keep kind of things simple for him early, right? You forget he's a 15-year-old making his first start. We're pretty spoiled with quarterback play at Westside, but he's as talented as anyone, and he's got plenty of weapons to go to.
And that's the impressive thing is the amount of explosive plays you guys had. Some big runs with Tate Jenkins, who was terrific.
I like Finn Christensen too. He's such a good player.
Well, and the combination of them, where you've got Jenkins kind of handling the load. You put in Christensen, take a couple runs, throw him a couple passes, just kind of as
how about his hands, right? That was one of the better catches of the night.
22-yard gain there, and that's what I'm talking about. Explosive plays. You got that from him. You got Eli Johnson with a couple of deep ones. You got Keenan Cotton making big plays as he does. You got Mo Purified Jr., who is going to be pretty darn good for you guys. Only had one catch, but it was an impressive one. Yeah. So just an embarrassment of riches there. Christian Jones didn't even really have to do much on offense.
Yeah, we probably got to figure that out, right? We'll kind of play that along as the season goes along. And it's easy for the big fellow to get impatient, especially when he goes 12 TDs on 21 catches a year ago, right? It's not a secret anymore.
No. And Jenkins, 26 carries for not a big dude, but handled that kind of load for 144 yards, and you toss in Christensen, 9 touches for 55 yards. Yeah. That's a nice little combo there you guys got in the backfield.
It's not small in stature, but they lift really hard. They train well. That's a good tandem, and really, really good people, right? Unselfish. So you can play that way with those guys.
Yeah. And again, mentioned Jones. He was the standout for North, I thought. Brother of
Donovan.
Thank you. Jeez. Too many D. Joneses. And I think you and Sauter both talked about him. And Sauter will be on here. We'll kind of mix it up, try to get three-man booth every single week. There might be a little much for all three of us. Yeah. So we're trying to spread it out a little bit. But you guys talked about Jones and that he was ready to step up, and certainly highlight reel touchdown, had interception in the end zone to keep points off the board.
Returns punts for him.
Yeah.
So he's good. Did you think – were you curious to see what would have happened emotionally if O'Neal pulls the first potential touchdown in on that fourth down?
That was huge, yeah, right away off the bat. That deep one just off the hands there would have been a touchdown, and that definitely would have, I think, changed maybe their belief and realize, because from then on they didn't get many yards. They weren't able to sustain drives. That was their best chance to put points on the board early. And again, it's not like you guys ran away from them. You only scored 22 yourselves. Right. So you get an extra 7 there, then it's a one-score game. Who knows what happens there? So
Tyson Terry gets a lot of the headlines, and rightfully so. I think he played all but one play, which is incredible. Yeah. To be honest, to be a center and play in a 3-tech, shout out. But that secondary is pretty good. And I really like Dortch. 12 for a good player. Tough, downhill. He's active. He's a little undersized, but man, he arrives with some bad intentions. He's a handful.
Yep. So, yeah, I think North will be a team that we continue to monitor here, and kind of they played as good of an opponent as they'll see all season. So that's tough to do in week 1. We'll see how they grow from this. Speaking
of tough opponents,
North South sitting there at number 2 in our poll. We'll see kind of how that plays out, because you guys don't play each other all season long.
Yeah.
So, but Millard South, they went out to Arizona, took on a very talented Basha team, ended up falling 39-25. It was kind of
pulled away. What was it 19-7 at the half when we were watching?
Yeah, and then they made a push at the start of the half, got it down to, I think, within a score, and then they had a bust, long touchdown, and then I think they had a turnover, and then that was kind of the ball game there. Yeah. But yeah, we're talking about a team with SEC recruits, 4-star kids,
an embarrassment of riches.
Yeah, they some serious number. Basha had almost 400 yards and 5 touchdowns passing. They had 128 yards on the ground. Brody Vares, Gio Richardson, Noah Roberts, their names that I think are all going to be on the recruiting radar, or already are for some of those guys. So, yeah, that was as much talent as they'll see, and they didn't quite have enough to hang with them for the full game there. But Millard South also, again, they put up 25 points against a talented team there. Didn't quit even when they got down, and they showed some things.
Do you think they'll need to find any consistency in the running game?
Yes.
You've got such good targets. But you probably would like balance maybe for cold weather.
Yeah, and we've seen
could have slowed down Bosch's front. That defensive front was pretty good for Basha. And
that was there were a few plays there where pressure ultimately ended their chance. There's I think a 4th down late ended up was it a fumble or Tamala didn't have any chance on that play.
I like him, though, at the quarterback spot.
Oh, he had they had him throw 57 passes in the season opener there. Threw for 294 yards and touchdown there. Gabe Pruka, 87 yards on the ground, 34 through the air. And, again, he's going to fill that fellow role where they're going to get him a ton of touches out of the backfield, hand it off, throwing him into the flat, and run some screen stuff for him. I think he'll be all right there. And, again, especially with the amount of attention you have to pay to the weapons out wide.
And which one?
That's Chase Lofton had 13 catches for 128 yards there.
Really got busy in the second half.
And then Jensen as well had a really nice touchdown, 5 catches, 60 yards.
That's one of the things I like about Coach Wisdom is it didn't yield a W, but he's notorious. I already like him as an offensive mind, but you know what he forces you to do? He's old school. If you can't stop it, he will rub it in your face. And he found something with Lofton in that matchup, and it was like, okay, until you fix it, there are no secrets here. Like, I'm just going to go with it. And I kind of like that as a coach, because it can be demoralizing, too, if you don't adjust as an opponent.
And now they come back here and right off the bat with a rivalry game.
Yeah,
with
Millard West
there.
That's tomorrow, I think.
Yep,
it's a Thursday night.
That's the Thursday one. Yep. Yeah. So that's kind of leading off the week there here in the Metro. Speaking of the Metro, Elkhorn South rising up to number 3. I got to see the first half of their game down in Lincoln East, and man, that defense is impressive. Devin Meyer, McCorder Geezer, Cooper Perrion up front. Like they got some dudes. Yeah. Landon Tate had a 90-some yard pick 6 in that game. Lincoln East just really could not do anything.
Young up front
offense.
too, a little bit too.
Yeah.
Got exposed.
Yeah, and Gavin Shanahan stepping into that role for Bousquet there. Played a ton for them last year, and now he is the guy. 21 carries, 156 yards, and 3 scores. And again, like that defensive front, just in the backfield all day long. They just
how good of a guy do you think Sutko's capable of being?
And he's a guy that they're going to use in multiple ways in the backfield, throwing him the ball, and with Shanahan kind of handling the heavy load there, you can move him around there. Yeah. So that is going to be the bulk of their offense. Madden Riggs is going to need to stand in there and make a few of those throws. I don't think they have a ton of speed on the outside. It is going to be a lot of that run game, a lot of the kind of in between trying to get Sutko. They had a few nice gains there through the air. And that's what you need to kind of keep defense honest there. So I think Elkhorn South, I was impressed with what I saw. And now we get a fun game right off the bat, week 2, against Bellevue West on Friday.
Yeah, and coming up at number 4, where the majority of our staff was Millard North, Millard West. I was pleasantly surprised by Millard West's ability to hang in there, because I felt like on paper, given what Millard West had lost, like, oh boy, like, yeah. But it is a rivalry game, and as we saw, it came down to the very end with Millard West having a chance to get in the end zone, but Millard North kind of settling down defensively, I think could change the trajectory for that program. They got some good stops.
Well, again, ending the game on a goal line stand there, yeah. That's got to give you some confidence there in the week 1 moving forward. It's like, hey, we can step up and perform.
Ray Berg's an absolute monster. Yeah. And how about, so they are dynamic, right? Vermas, Newberry, really obviously great players. Bogats is a little underappreciated, isn't he? He is a hammer.
Well, and I think using him as the complement versus you're just going to carry it 40 times a game, run up the middle in the old offense.
How fast is Vermas, though? So you get that kind of change of pace?
He had, 71 and 64-yard touchdowns in that game.
How about him hit neutral on the 1 touchdown run where those guys had the angle, and I was like, whoa.
Yeah. Well, that's what I was talking to Ravi Lula, and he was there watching. He's like, yeah, he saw a touchdown where he was slowing down and still passing dudes.
He was kind of decelerating about the 20.
Yeah, and still nobody could gain on him. So, yeah, and that's kind of the interesting thing now is seeing kind of the offense open up more. You've had the pieces. It just didn't quite click. Maybe the buy-in wasn't there. It's always interesting kind of the rejuvenation of maybe a new system, kids trying something new. And they've got the pieces to be an exciting offense there again with, like you said, the hammer up the middle with Bogats, the speed off the outside with Vermas, Newberry, touchdown catch. He'll go out there and make a highlight reel play every time you give him a chance too. And then you got all those guys on defense too, where you've got impact guys at multiple levels. You got Rayberg up front, you got Newberry, you got Vermas in the back end there.
Yeah, that secondary has potential if they can find some consistency. They got potential on paper to be pretty good. Pretty good. And for Millard West, I'll be curious to see, because I was like, wow. And I know they're well coached, so that was probably a given with Petey, just because he always has those guys ready anyway. But I came away with that one thinking Millard West is better than I would have thought going in, and I shouldn't really be surprised just because, I mean, that staff is legit, obviously. I'll be curious to see how they respond because they will be spread out and put to the test this week. But I do think it's good that they got a chance to see dynamic playmakers on the outside in week 1 to kind of
get ready for.
I mean, if you're going to try to simulate what Millard South does, I mean, it helps if you can see a Vermas and Newberry to start, right, as a gauge. They should have some confidence.
Yeah. And that win bumped Millard North up to 4 ahead of Kearney, who dropped to 5. They went 1-0 as well, 20-0 against North Platte. And, game control, North Platte, you're going to have to go on and earn.
Possessions are hard to come by.
And they got that done. And now they take on Grand Island, who they lost 35-20 against Southeast, but new quarterback there, Gavin Sem.
Yeah.
A little different Grand Island there, threw for 319 yards, took through 45 passes.
He's healthy now. Coming off the knee, he can spin it.
Yeah,
it comes from good GI stock, too.
Yeah. So Kearney going from North Platte to a team throwing 45 times in their opener, a little different, going to test them in different ways.
Yeah, they'll spread them out a little. And I felt like, I was joking with you off air. If you don't win on first down against North Platte, you allow them to get in a lot of fourth and shorts. You got to get those guys off the field. I wouldn't be overly they're probably going to have to get a little bit more consistency at the quarterback spot for Kearney, but you're not going to get a lot of cracks at it when you play North Platte. The ball just doesn't get in your hands a ton.
100%. Bellevue West there at 6, so maybe the best game of the weekend there, 28-27 comeback win.
If you like
Central.
Excitement. It was a little sloppy from a penalty standpoint, but
most exciting finish for sure.
Yeah.
I didn't catch the start. I heard about kind of what was going on with the penalties.
I was texting you.
Yeah, you and Sauter and I were kind of going back and forth because it wasn't looking good for Bellevue West early. It was at 21-7 or something like that. And it was going the wrong way.
Yeah, then you had the 45 yards worth of penalties.
Have you ever seen that before?
I haven't. And it took forever to sort out, and I couldn't hear kind of what the exchanges were because I felt like the officiating crew did a really good job. It's a raucous, it's an environment in which it can get away from you.
Yes.
They spent time talking to both coaches. If you're just reading body language, I thought both coaches received the information well. So you didn't know what happened when they started to step it off. So they did the first 15, and then the next 15,
and then they kept going.
Next 15, and I'm thinking, wow, that's almost a 50-yard penalty. And Bellevue West was struggling to move the ball. They didn't get a ton of consistency in the ground game. And you find yourself going in 21-14 as opposed to 21-7. Yeah. I felt like that was kind of the shot in the arm that Bellevue West needed. Yeah, and you mentioned the ground game. That's kind of, as much as we talk about Bell West passing attack and their weapons, what's made them good is having that big-time running back as a complement to what they do on the outside. Their starting running back, Murray Lewis, had 6 carries for 33 yards in that game. It was almost entirely the Anderson offense. There was a stretch where they weren't even – there was no real handoff run game.
Yeah.
But Anderson did take over with some plays outside the pocket, and then Whaley started to get loose late.
Yeah, and we talked about him, that's going to be the key. Losing the guys he did before, he was a nice compliment to Hall and McMorris and those guys last year. Now he's got to be the guy. He's probably the most talented player among those pass catchers out there, the toughest matchup. He's got to go out and perform, and he did. 7 catches, 72 yards, 2 touchdowns. I mentioned Anderson had 13 carries, 74 yards to lead the run game, scored twice on the ground, and also completed half his passes for 160 yards. Again, Whaley, most of those to Whaley there. So Bellevue West, they found a way, go down, take the lead with about 3 minutes left, give the ball back to Central, and credit to B.J. Newsom in that offense. I was really impressed with that.
See, I like him. Yeah. So the thing that he just doesn't get rattled. Right, he always seems like he's under control. Never too demonstrative. He got the ball to Pittman late, and Haney I think was struggling a little bit with either cramps or something. He looked like a different runner in the second half, but Ackerman stepped up. They've got to find a way to kind of get Elijah Wayne involved on offense more, because right now it's kind of Haney, Pittman, and Ike, which isn't. Listen,
that's a nice little combo.
That's a nice little trio. But for balance sake,
we're talking about with Westside and Millard South. That's.
I like AJ Nichols. Maybe they can find something with AJ, but I know. That one may be hard for Central to get over, because I feel like they controlled that game.
So 3 minutes left. Newsom made some big plays in the passing game, marched down the field, get it in the end zone. Great catch by Torrey Pittman there to give him a chance to tie it.
That was a lot of space they gave him, too. I'm thinking, ooh, he's too good for that.
27-28, decided, heck, we're going for this.
And they had just missed 2 short field goals previously, and I maybe kind of lacked a little confidence.
So decided to go for it, tried to go for the win instead of putting the kicker's hands there. And unfortunately, the play was dead on arrival. Bad snap, pressure immediately in his face. Newsome scrambled out, tried to just get rid of the ball as he was going down to the ground. Yep. Got picked off. So I admire the attempt there. It's just you got to protect a little bit better in that key situation to give yourself a chance there, and they didn't do it. So they take the loss. But Newsome, 21-29 for 256 yards and 3 touchdowns. 42 yards on the ground. You mentioned Ackerman, complete a pass for 50 yards. 3 catches for 49 yards and a score.
That's a good.
5 tackles, a sack, 4 quarterback hurries, and 2 pass breakups.
He's a good player. I'm telling you, he looks great in that single digit too.
Yep, 100%. So Central is a talented team. We'll see. They're still hanging in at number 10 despite the loss in the rankings here. They've got a chance to kind of put some pieces together. Just got to get more discipline. You cannot give teams as many yards as they did in that one. And that was a bit of a theme. Week 1, there's a lot of penalties in your game.
Yeah, we had 130, but Central gets over the 200-yard mark in terms of penalties. And, conversely, the opponents, North wasn't as heavily penalized, and Bellevue West, I think, only had the 5 penalties. Staying clean and not losing games may be a theme early for teams as it's a very fluid top 10, I think.
Yep. Southeast today mentioned Grand Island won that 35-20. Cash Butenbach taking it and filling in where his brother left off. Just dude that's going to go out there and put up yards, get a lot, play a lot.
So tough.
16 carries, 136 yards and a touchdown on the ground. 14 tackles on defense to lead the team. So same kind of thing that his brother was doing there. Nate Applegate, again, another younger brother out there playing really well. Had 2 catches, 40 yards and a touchdown, and 13 tackles on defense. So 2 guys playing both ways every snap and
fighting over tackles.
Yeah.
Is that 27 between the 2?
Yeah, that's pretty good there. At 9, another exciting finish there, or exciting game back and forth, Papillion-LaVista versus Papillion-LaVista South. End up go-ahead kick return touchdown for Isaac Pamaran. Ends up being the difference there.
A guy that Coach Williams affectionately referred to as the best player in the state. I like the confidence. He's got to support his guy.
Yep, he had 3 catches, 71 yards, a touchdown, and that 88-yard kickoff return touchdown. Antonio DJ Akamo, 21 carries, 103 yards, and a touchdown on the ground to lead the, obviously, had some big shoes to fill in the backfield there.
With Prestido.
Prestido moving on, and pretty solid debut for him. Cam Leggett at quarterback, threw for 183 yards.
Boy, he is excitable.
Yeah.
He's a fiery son of a gun, is Leggett.
Yeah, I think difference in the game, they held Papillion South to 21 yards on 20 carries on the ground, obviously shutting down Derek Jones.
I like Papillon's defensive line.
Yeah. And they got some big dudes up front in the trenches both ways for them there. Obviously, we know Garen Maley's committed to Texas Tech. They got some other big dudes up there as well. Chase Cunningham was the offense for Papillion South, 230 yards and 3 touchdowns through the air. So they're going to need to get that running game going. We know Jones is capable of putting up some big numbers there. A good player there. They need to get more offensive balance moving forward.
Yeah, that's the key.
Yeah. And we already talked about Central at 10, so that's the top 1 or the top 10 in Class A for Week 1. Bellevue West, Elkhorn South is probably the best Class A game this week. Kind of the in terms of rank versus rank. Millard North has taken on Cherry Creek out of Colorado, who did lose their opener, so not really sure kind of what
to make of it.
Yeah, what to make of them, but it is a team traveling here from outside the state to take on Millard North. So trying to decide where I want to be on Friday. Those are both options, but we'll see. So that's kind of, and then we mentioned Millard South, Millard West. Millard West receiving votes still a little bit from their opening performance. So that's Week 1 in Class A. I want to run through B real quick.
Yeah, let's get to it.
Yeah, Bennington doing what they do.
Points are hard to come by, aren't they?
23-0 against Waverly, who was number 3 I think last week. That defense. Incredible. Very much as advertised. They held them to 147 total yards. So that's what they're going to do to everybody. It's good luck anybody playing.
Not a bad night at the offense for that defense.
Yeah. Will Gutt stepping in at running back, 130 yards on the ground. Still kind of figuring out, need to kind of polish up quarterback play a little bit. Houston Hill ended up winning that battle, although they use Boafakeo. He scored a couple of touchdowns there as well. So they still got plenty to work on offense. They've got some talent there to kind of figure it out, but that defense will win them games single-handedly. Yeah. They're not even going to have to score more than a touchdown or two to win most games this season. So Bennington very much looking the part. Skutt rising up to number 2 with a 29-13 win over Norris. Dylan Van Dyke threw for 213 yards and 4 touchdowns, tying the school record.
Not surprised.
Yep. Congrats stepping in. It's your job now, and just going out there and airing it out.
And that's a guy that I could see both Termans, Seth Moore as a guy that's a little more wide open in terms of his offensive thought process. He's going to have some fun with this quarterback.
Yep. Gretna, nice 38-28 win over Elkhorn. Welcome to Class B Dragons there. Sliding in there at number 3, moving up.
Getting good quarterback play.
Michael Knudsen, 24-31 for 374 yards and 3 touchdowns, plus 2 rushing touchdowns. Yeah. So, again, another kid that's kind of waited his turn, put in the work that they've liked, but they've had older guys kind of fill in those spots, and now it's his turn to step in there and definitely delivered in his debut. Bryce Lakers was his top target, 9 catches for 222 yards and 2 touchdowns.
Yeah,
so appears he's got a favorite receiver there with him.
He's got a target. Boy, they just keep churning them out, don't they?
Well, and they scored 24 in the second quarter.
Yeah.
That's
pretty explosive.
Yeah. So Gretna is very much going to be a factor there in Class B, despite all they lost from the last couple of years there up in A. Elkhorn North won open 24-21. Pius gave him a battle there. Beachy threw for 245 yards and 2 scores, had a rushing touchdown as well. Jet Tingleoff, 105 yards.
Good player.
Yeah, got an interception on defense. Alex Uckman, 5 catches, 135 yards and a touchdown. Hunter Rosenbaum had a 68-yard touchdown reception. Barry Freeze had 18 tackles, 2 quarterback hurries, and a fumble recovery. And then Jason Reynolds, who Nebraska's recruiting there, kind of a talented multi-positional player there. 7 tackles, a sack, a forced fumble. So they've got a pretty well-rounded team there. But Pius, kind of an impressive. They really gave him a battle there.
Yeah, good enough to crack the top 10 too.
Yeah, Joe Andreessen had 101 yards and a touchdown on offense and 10 tackles, playing both ways for them. So, Pius there comes in at number 10 despite the loss, so looking good in that one. Mentioned Waverly already. They dropped to 5 with the loss, but I think they'll be just fine. They'll have a chance once you play somebody that's
Bennington
not
will do that a lot, yeah.
Yeah.
Somebody not named Bennington.
Yeah, well, and Waverly's got a good one this week.
Their schedule is tough.
Yeah. And we talk about them be quite often. All the top 10 teams play each other like multiple times, round robins throughout the year, just the way it works out. But we get this matchup here, 5 against 6 with Seward, who had a nice opening win, 45-24 against Gretna East, who was top 10 to start season.
Several people that listen to this show that I see around the metro have told me all summer to keep an eye on Seward. So I'm going to keep an eye on Seward.
Treston Ass, 16-22 for 248 yards and 2 touchdowns, 67 yards on the ground, 2 more touchdowns. They said to look out for him. Pretty good debut there. It's got two interceptions. Got to clean that up a little bit moving forward. But I mean, they put up 45 points on the board. So what more could you ask?
I'm a little shocked at the score, just because I thought like Gretna East's got a chance.
Hype coming in.
Yeah, but I mean, Seward may be for real.
Yeah, no doubt, and we'll see for sure this week when they go to Waverly. They pull that one off, then we have to start having some real conversations about
and how would you like to be Waverly if you do start 0-2 and 2 of your losses will to be then top 5 teams.
Yep, no doubt. Scottsbluff at 7, open 31-6 win over GI Northwest. Nate Kelly, it's his show now.
Everything.
Yep, Sebastian Boyle's gone. Now Kelly's stepping in, leading the way. 120 yards on 6 completions and a touchdown through the air. 73 yards and 2 touchdowns on the ground. 7 tackles on defense. Desmond Smith stepping in, 25 carries, 176 yards, and a touchdown. And then he had a pick on defense as well. So stepping in there for Boyle. We mentioned Norris. York at 8 is kind of the last one to discuss. They've got a big one this week. They beat Hastings 17-14 in week 1, and now they play against Elkhorn North on Friday. I believe that'll be Sauter's game of the week.
Yeah, Hastings is a team that some people that follow them pretty close will eventually like. So we'll see, because I think
votes.
Yeah, so they're right. They're right there at 0-1.
Yep. I think the other classes, kind of probably the most noteworthy result was Norfolk Catholic taking care of business against Bishop Neumann there, kind of keeping Connor Booth in check there. That Norfolk Catholic team just kind of continues to plug along there. That defensive front is nasty and not a lot of room to run against them. I think the big one moving forward is in C1, Wahoo against Ashland Greenwood this week on Friday. Ashland Greenwood survived week 1. Got to clean up some of the turnovers, but made a play at the end.
Can't give the ball away.
No, not at all. So, we'll see there. That's 1 versus 3 in C1. Anything else that we need to hit on before we get out of here?
No, unless you want to highlight some performers. I mean,
I did not get that this week. I think we touched on some of the big performances already off the top.
And I do like the fact that you gave us kind of a little bit of a precursor too, especially with quarterbacks to watch and players to watch who didn't disappoint in week 1.
Yeah,
right. So it's like not too bad.
Yeah, no, it's I don't know that there's. The talent in Class A, maybe in terms of high-level guys, but you look at B, there's some really good quarterbacks there. Some different spots that'll definitely make some of these games fun.
I'm curious to see if C1 will continue to be C1 in terms of hard to figure out down the stretch. Wahoo's pretty good.
I think we figured that out. With everything they brought back, it's
going to be a good football team.
100%.
No, that music, that means it is another week. We are complete. It's another episode of NEBPreps with my man Jacob Padilla. We'll be back next week. Don't you dare miss us.
A Hurrdat Sports Network production.